This is a Sony Handycam from 2004. Sony had several Hi8 and Digital 8 models all sharing the same body style, and they were in production until 2007. They were quite popular because they were Sony's least expensive camcorders at the time. In fact, it was popular enough that Canon decided to come out with a very similar shape of camcorder in 2005. The Optura S1. You see the similarity. It's obviously much smaller, but the same basic rectangular box type of design. The lens in the upper right, a stereo microphone underneath it, and they both have an LED light. And on this side they both have some buttons above the swing out LCD. And on the back they both have a pull out viewfinder on the upper left, as well as various buttons and controls. And of course this side has the hand strap. But while these Sony Handycams are very common and easy to find, this Canon Optura S1 seems to be a rather rare model. It took me quite a while before I could find one in working condition for a good price. I got this one for $37 plus shipping on eBay, including the original box and all the original accessories, and a whole bunch of MiniDV tapes. These are all blank, including one that's still in its original wrapper. These did contain various home videos, such as Graduation and Rome in London, but these tapes were all erased by leaving the camcorder recording with the lens cover closed. So they just have a blank image on all of them. This one is the only one that actually has some video on it. The box lists some of the features of the camcorder, including MiniDV recording, 16:9 high resolution, picked bridge, Canon Connect plug-in edit, Digic DV, USB certified, and mini SD. Yes, it actually has a mini SD card slot, which is an intermediate size between regular SD cards and micro SD cards. So inside the box we get the AC adapter, power cord, AV cable including composite and S-video, USB cable. Here's the original 16 megabyte mini SD card. It has some photos on it. Remote control. A spare battery with a holder to protect it. And here's the protector for the battery that I have currently installed on the camera. A CD-ROM with some software on it for Windows and Macintosh. Original owner's manual. And here's the original receipt from Costco. It was purchased on May 30th, 2006 for about $400, which was $150 off of the list price. So it was purchased almost exactly 9 years ago. I also found a receipt for a Panasonic Lumix FX30 camera purchased at Tall's Camera of Bellevue, Washington in 2007. I wonder what happened to this camera. So looking over the controls and features of the Canon Optura S1, on the front is the stereo microphone, there's the built-in speaker, the LED light, the flash for taking photos, and there's the lens of course with the manual lens shutter, and it does have a lens thread on it. Under the cover on the front is the DC power input and the AV input-output jack. It can record from an external video source to the tape or to the mini SD card. It uses a proprietary cable though. On the top we get some buttons for digital effects, audio level. This does have a manual audio level control, although it does not have an external microphone input. Drive mode, which is for taking photos. For example, you can do auto exposure bracketing using it. A record pause button. Some playback control buttons, which also control the flash and the built-in LED light. There's the swing out LCD, which is not a touchscreen, thankfully. You just get some buttons on the side here for controlling the brightness of the backlight, and a print share button, which is pretty much useless unless you're using the software that came with it. And this is the first camcorder I've seen where the LCD is spring-loaded. So if you want to open it, all you have to do is hit this release button here, and it swings out all by itself. How cool is that? There's where the battery goes and goes inside the LCD. So it's a very flat battery. That one is the original Canon battery, and it does hold a good charge. I did also get an aftermarket battery with it. There's the battery release lever. Inside here is a little flap you can open to blow air inside to clean the viewfinder, which, as I showed before, does pull out. It is a color viewfinder. On the back you get various controls for going through the menus. The function button brings up additional menus. You get manual focus and exposure buttons, and mode dials for selecting automatic or manual modes, and the playback or recording mode with the start and stop button in the middle there, and a switch to go between tape and the mini SD card, which is under this flap here. On the bottom you get your information sticker and a plastic tripod mount without the locator pin, and a reset button. Also, there's another start-stop button on top of the LCD. And this does have one major improvement over the Sony design. On the Sony, the tape loads from the bottom, so if you want to change tapes you have to remove it from the tripod. Well, on this one the tape loads from the top. So there you can insert your MiniDV tape. And we can turn it on into camera mode. And open the lens shutter. I have it set to widescreen mode. Of course, you get your various menus and controls here for things like image stabilization and widescreen, recording mode SP or LP, audio windscreen option, microphone attenuator, microphone level, automatic or manual, and all the typical options for the display and the remote and the power saver feature, setting the date and time, and so on and so forth. And if we push that audio level button on the top, we get an audio level indicator on the screen, so you can see it responding to my voice. So that's a nice feature to have, even though this does not have an external microphone input. You do get a level meter and a manual level control. And I almost forgot that hidden under the hand strap is this flap here, which has the USB port and the DV port. And here's that mini SD card in case you've never seen one before. It's a very odd size. And I'll put it into that little slot on the bottom here. This can record video to the SD card, but it's much lower quality than recording to tape. It's only 320 by 240 resolution. But it can take fairly high resolution photos because, as you can see in the manual, it has a 2.2 megapixel CCD image sensor with an effective resolution of 2 megapixels when taking photos to the SD card. And it has a Canon video lens with 10 times optical zoom. The image stabilization is only electronic though. And it can also be used to convert analog video signals into digital format, as the manual explains here. You plug your AV input cable from your analog video source into the input jack, and then you connect your FireWire cable to your computer. So that's about it for the controls and features of the Canon Optura S1 camcorder. So now let's see how well it records video. I'm now recording video using the Canon Optura S1 camcorder from 2005. There's the Sony MiniDV camcorder I used to record the first part of this video. That's my DCR HC96 from 2007. And there's that Digital 8 camcorder I showed before. Here's a little bit of music. One criticism I've heard online about this model is that it does not do very well in low light. So I'll see how it does. I'll gradually turn off my lights in here. That's just a single 60-watt light bulb above the table now. and now it's very dark on this side of the room. So it is producing an image in very low light, but it's very grainy and washed out. So I'll turn on the built-in LED light here, which seems to be doing a pretty reasonable job. About the same as my Canon FS200. Here's my Canon HV20 HDV high definition camcorder. So I don't think this does too bad in low light. It's not as good as the Sony's here, but it's pretty decent. I've seen far worse. And once again, here's that built-in LED light at a further distance away. So that's pretty good. Now back to bright lighting, and I'll test out the image stabilization with the zoom. It's only 10 times optical zoom though, so it's not an extreme amount of zoom, so it should be able to do pretty good. There it is, fully zoomed in. It looks like it's doing a reasonable job of keeping things steady. And here's your very unofficial resolution test. And this is with the microphone attenuator feature turned on, so you can hear how much of a difference that makes. And back to normal microphone level with the automatic level control turned on. And here's manual level control. Right now it's all the way up, so I'm sure my voice is going to be very loud and distorted. Turning it down and turning it more down. I just had it set to the minimum, so maybe it made it completely silent. I don't know. Back up to the mid-range setting and back to automatic level control. So far I'm really liking this camcorder. It has a high quality feel to it, and it has the same very functional and practical design layout as the Sony High 8 and Digital 8 camcorders, while being much smaller and lighter. So that's definitely an advantage. I just wish it had an external microphone jack, but I guess you can't have everything. So that's my review and test of the Canon Optura S1 MiniDV camcorder from 2005. Thank you for watching.